since the hype has been built up against for Darwin Nunez as he scored a hat trick against Stoke, he also scored against Preston and he's just been looking really sharp in preseason. A lot of Liverpool fans I've seen are kind of thinking, should we keep him now? Does this mean that we should just give him another chance? Because imagine he just gets his finishing right, then he's that complete forward, Because we've seen over the years, even though it hasn't quite worked out for him, he has a lot of other ability that shows that he can be a top striker, and he's proven that so far. And with the way that he's performed this preseason, I know a lot of Liverpool fans want him to potentially be given one last chance. So it makes you wonder, do you think now Darwin will be staying? Or is he still set to leave? And my personal opinion, I think he will go. And I think he will go not because I don't think he can't be successful someplace at a top football club. I still believe that he can be a top forward. But the reason I say that is because I don't quite think he's the type of striker that Arne Slot wants. And I think it's very, very clear with that Ugo Kitika signing. I think it was difficult to know within that first season that he joined what kind of forward or what kind of striker, what kind of nine he likes to operate with. But I think it's been made very clear with this Ugo Kitika signing. Even though it's been led by Michael Edwards, even though it's been led by Richard Hughes, Arne Slot would have given the type of strike. He would have told them and the recruitment team the type of striker that he wants and the type of striker that he'll get the best out of. And when you look at what Ugo Ekitike is best at, it really is his link-up play, his build-up play, what he does on the ball. And I would arguably say that's Darwin's biggest weakness. I would say what Darwin is incredible at is running in behind, his speed, his when he's in form, his finishing in the box. But I don't think that's the type of center forward that Arne Slot is looking for. Just like under, those Klopp years, where did a lot of our goals come from? The wings, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane. Bobby Firmino was that facilitator. I know Slot doesn't set up the same way as, Jurgen does, but I think this Ugo Ekitike signing makes it very clear. I think, for example, the fact we really want Alexander Isak, I think he's that type of striker too. Even though he's obviously more complete, I would say, in this moment in time than Ekitike, he's still that type of striker that's going to get the best out of his wingers as well and really bring them into the play and be more than just kind of the danger running in behind or in the box, which I think, again, not to discredit Darwin and not to say that Darwin can't score 30 goals somewhere else, because I think he can, like he proved it at Benfica. I just don't quite think it's meant to be at Liverpool. Maybe under a different manager, but under Arne Slot, it's very clear. If you had plans for him or still believed in him towards the end of the season, I believe in those games when we had already won the league, he would have started him because he would have started to work on that development for next season to see if it could be possible. By the way, look how incredible this is. I'm just on a beach here, alone in Iceland. It is just absolutely incredible. I love this country too much. Shout out to all my Icelandic scousers in the building. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Darwin, because I know, and I'm just like everybody else, when you see him score a hat-trick in preseason and he has his moments where you're just like, he can do everything and he can be one of the best strikers in the world. But the reality is, I just don't quite think it's meant to be a Liverpool Football Club. And the beautiful thing is, I think it shows where even someone who struggled with a big price tag, I think it says everything about the Liverpool fan base. Yes, there'll be some negative people online, but when you look at our away end and you look at our crowd at Anfield, we've always stood behind Darwin, even during the more difficult moments. And I just think that's so, so beautiful that even someone who struggled, is backed by our fans. And I think that's what's so beautiful about Liverpool Football Club. We really stand by our players no matter what. And again, like you see my stance where I think I'm saying it's probably time for him to go. I don't mean that in a negative way. If he were to leave, I would wish him the best and I would believe that he can succeed somewhere else. But some things in life aren't meant to be, and that's not necessarily negative. You know what I mean? I don't think that's necessarily negative. So, yeah. And let me just say this too. If he was to stay another season, because let's say we can't get Alexander Isak and we're short in that center forward department because obviously the tragedy of Diogo Jota as well, then I would back him to still deliver for Liverpool and give something to the team. But like I said, the fact that we've spent £69 million at least in a fixed fee for Ugo Ekitike, for me that very much says that's the type of centre forward that Arne Slot wants. I couldn't have said that last summer because again, we hadn't really watched how he operated. But the fact that even when Jota at moments was fit and even when Darwin was fit, he was starting Lucho, don't forget, down the middle with Cody Gakpo on the left. And Lucho is not a regular center forward, so he was operating in a position that wasn't natural to him. But again, that goes back to this belief that I have where for him, a center forward really has to be good with their feet, really has to be intelligent in the build-up to the attack. And I think Ugo Ekitike has those traits, and that's why I believe we've gone and not really had any doubts in this signing. It seems like we've been linked with him for a long time, and once Newcastle showed that interest, last week, that's when it looks like we really accelerated our push for him. It seems like he was always kind of under our radar, but once we saw Newcastle were seriously going for it, we were like, no, we can't lose out on him, so we went in and we got the deal done within 4 days. Within 4 days since David Ornstein at least said that, we contacted Frankfurt about the possible move. That's how serious we were about it, and again, for me, that's someone that Slot seriously rates if we go that big for him, So anyways, let me know what you guys think about Darwin, where you guys are at with Darwin. If you agree with me, if you disagree, let's have a debate. I'm open to all opinions, and I think that's a beautiful thing. We should listen to one another's opinions and, out of a place of positivity, which I think a lot of this building and community is all about. But yeah, guys, look, as you can see, I'm just freaking alone at the beach. Actually, no, it looks like there's a dad with his daughter just running on the beach here. But look how unbelievable this is. My favorite thing is just to go on walks during the day and at night because it's so quiet here on this peninsula. I'm in Iceland right now, and it's the most peaceful thing. I just listen to jazz on my walks, and I just feel incredibly at peace, and I think it's so important to find those moments. And I feel like in Iceland, at least, it's so easy to find those moments because there's nature even when you're in the capital. Look, right now, I'm in the capital, and there's nature around, so it's really special. But anyways, you guys, I hope you have a beautiful day, and thank you again for, if you've watched up to this point, for the support that you've shown on this channel. It's a new channel, it's a new adventure, and I'm really, really excited about it. So I appreciate all of the OGs that have showed that support and love in the building so early on in this new journey, because yeah, I know I wouldn't have done this without you. So thank you very, very much. And I'm going to continue on my end to deliver at least a video per day, at least a long form video per day, and we shall see where this goes, But thank you guys, and I'll see you very, very soon. All the best. Ciao, guys.